All right, that was an elite game. We're talking high level football, high level entertainment between the Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. 35-34 Baltimore wins. They were down 14 fairly late in this game. And then Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow just traded blows back and forth. Joe Burrow threw for 428 yards with 4 touchdowns and no interceptions, and his team lost. I know there's going to be controversy about the 2-point conversion play. It happened, though, and that's a tough loss for the Cincinnati Bengals, who dropped to 4-6. We're in a driverless ride here in San Francisco. Those of you just joining, we just made a nice turn. We're going to work our way up to a surprise destination. We're going to take in a nice view, and we're going to talk football on the way. What a Thursday night game. Kicks off the weekend. 49ers returning from their bye. And, early on in this game, or for 75 to 80% of it, and even late with that final drive, the Cincinnati Bengals delivered their 49ers November special, which is high-level, composed, controlled football in November following some shaky outings in September and October. And I understand that the Bengals are known for this as well. They're known for turning it up a little bit later in the year whenever Joe Burrow is healthy. But I call it the 49ers special because, hey, I know I talk the entire NFL, but we do focus a little bit more on the 49ers talk. And they're coming back out of their bye week in Tampa on Sunday. And over the past 3 years, the 49ers have been a 500 team before the bye week, and after the bye week, they have compiled a record of 30-8. Like 30 wins and 8 losses. So the 49ers have morphed from a decidedly mediocre team before the bye to an elite team after the bye. And as I was watching this game, obviously the Ravens had the better schedule coming in than the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bengals were the team that theoretically needed to win more, but they had been performing worse to begin the season. Over the first, when did that fumble happen at 21-7 that got the Ravens back in it? Was that already in the fourth quarter? I think that might have been early fourth, maybe late third quarter. But for about the first 70% of this game, the Bengals looked like the better football team. I mean, they were controlling the clock, controlling yardage. Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy do have a lot in common with how composed they are. They both have some escapability. They both layer those intermediate passes with great touch. I know Burrow has a bigger physical frame, and he was the number 1 overall draft pick, and Purdy went the polar opposite end of the draft last. So some people might think that comparison is blasphemous, but as far as the way that they play the game, there are similarities. And as the Bengals did go into November mode, it looked like they're just going to be able to strangle the life out of the game against the Ravens. But turnovers are everything in this league. And as soon as we saw that fumble, this guy's crossing the street in front of us, and he waved in thanks to the driverless car. Wonder if the car can acknowledge him. At least it didn't. We talk about the takeaway battle. It completely changes the balance of football games. And one thing that the 49ers have done so well when they've been winning over the past couple of years has been winning that turnover battle at all costs. They've been number 1 in the NFL in takeaway margin, the 49ers have. So that's something that they're middle of the pack this year so far. That's something that they're going to have to find a way to get into the NFL's top 10, top 5 moving forward here in the back half of the season. Because as you see, a giveaway at the wrong spot or a takeaway at the right spot can completely change the game. And it did today with what we saw in that game between the Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Somebody just said, I haven't seen Brock Purdy go toe-to-toe with an elite quarterback. Okay, so you're saying that Patrick Mahomes is not an elite quarterback. Look at these people. They're kind of brave trying to cross in front of a driverless car. That's wild. But the car saw him, so it was good. We made it to Market Street. Either you didn't watch the Super Bowl or you don't think that Patrick Mahomes is an elite quarterback. But Brock Purdy went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Please stop with the absolutely idiotic comments. If you're trying to denigrate Brock Purdy, you're not smart. Period. It's an idiotic comment. It's an idiotic look. He's an elite quarterback. Anybody who knows football understands this when they watch the game. And if you're going to go online and pretend differently, then you're going to get called out either by the comment section or by me. It's just it's stupid. It's like saying 1 + 1 = 3, and it's just not time for it anymore in smart football discussion. You saw two great quarterbacks playing in that game today, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, and Brock Purdy is right there with them as one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He's performed that way, both statistically, aesthetically, when you watch the numbers, when you watch the tape, whatever you want to look at, with his weapons, without all of his weapons. He has consistently delivered since 2022. Does he have a bad game here and there? Yes. Does Lamar Jackson have a bad game here and there? Yes. Does Joe Burrow have a bad game here and there? Yes. The debate on Brock Purdy is over. The question now is, how far can he take the 49ers this year when they clearly haven't been the same team around him as they were in the past couple seasons? Now, they might raise the level of play outside of Brock Purdy. That's the hope. They don't want their defense to be ranked between 10 and 15. They want to get the defense into the top 5. They should be better as far as supporting cast goes offensively. That's up to Christian McCaffrey to give the offensive boost. That's up to Juwan Jennings to come back and maybe even fill in an X receiver role for Brandon Ayuk. That's up to the offensive line continuing to improve. They've already improved a lot this season. They're delivering better pass protection than they did last year. So, all of these things, it's a team sport, and there's a lot of variables at play. And I'll tell you what, I'm very, very excited to see how the variables fall into place for the 49ers over the back half of this season. So I'm going to open it up to some questions. We're going to talk a lot today about the 49ers. We can talk a lot about the Bengals and the Ravens. Those are two quality quarterbacks that we saw today. Lamar Jackson, boy, that run down the sideline was something else. We have that man, 89-59, the extreme poor officiating messed up a great game. Yeah, I mean, it left a sour taste in people's mouths there at the end, but I mean, you still got some entertainment value out of that, though, right? I mean, that was a 35-34 game with a losing quarterback, threw for 428, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. So, I mean, objectively, that was fun football to watch. Was the ending less than satisfying? I suppose. But either way, you're going to get probably the same amount of entertainment, maybe a last gasp drive from the Ravens there instead of the onside kick if the 2-point conversion had been converted. But you got a full 60 minutes of entertainment. And Tommy Huxley just came in and said, "Are you not entertained? Is that not why you're here?" Gladiator 2 is coming out soon. I don't know if it's going to be garbage or if it's going to be good, but as you know, Gladiator is one of my favorite movies. So we're headed uphill now. I told you guys we're going to head up to a viewpoint, so that's where we're going. The hill is going to be rather steep, up 17th Street. And hopefully we get a nice, clear night. I think we will, because it's good weather tonight in the city to talk 49ers from a cool spot. I mean, these Waymo rides have been a cool addition, I think, to us talking 49ers football. Tommy Huxley says, "Welcome back to the best coast." And guess what? I'm leaving back to the least coast tomorrow. Tampa Bay, but cover 340 across the country once again, back in the other direction. Toss in your questions. 49ers Bucs. I mean, that's going to be fun on Sunday. I've talked a little bit about the matchup. I'll talk a little bit more about it moving forward. Those of you who show up to our fan meetup, Gasper's Grotto in Tampa. Ooh, we're making another turn. I think we're going to go Portola Drive. Cool. All right. I see what we're doing here. Arrival says in 10 minutes. Gasper's Grotto over in Tampa. That's where the meetup's going to be. That's the Niner Empire Tampa chapter is hosting a meetup there, and I'm just going to crash it. I've talked to the organizer. We're going to be there at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So go and check that out. But we can talk 49ers Bucs. The Bucs defense does not rank well. Run defense, middle of the pack this year. Pass defense down at number 26. The defense as a whole is around 26 or 27. That's EPA per play. It's not the same Tampa Bay defense that we had typically seen in years prior under Todd Bowles. For example, when Brock Purdy made his first career start against Tom Brady in 2022, Tampa Bay's defense ranked in the top 5. So this is a worse defense. It's going to be a hot day in Tampa Bay. I mean, somebody like Shaq was the difference, I thought, in the Super Bowl when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He's not going to be coming off anymore. They still have Vita Vea, which is a problem for anybody. Vita Vea is a massive, massive force. And by that, I mean literally massive. Oh, boy. This car just sped up on the yellow light. I respect it. We're making our way up Upper Market Street, Portola Drive. Yeah, there we go. I think I might have lost you there for a second because we're heading up a steep hill. And here we are. The view's going to be awesome, as you can tell. Yeah, we're back. Hopefully I don't lose you guys here before we make it to our final destination. If I do, I'm going to try to stay on my phone, and we'll definitely have reception when we get to my destination. I didn't calculate that there were parts of the city that might still be a little spotty when we're doing these shows, but it's all good. You guys are all back in, and go ahead and keep the questions coming. Does Khalil Davis help Nick Bosa at all? I think any defensive line depth helps Nick Bosa, even defensive tackle depth. And, you know, Khalil Davis has some juice as a pass rusher because he's twitched up. He explodes off that line of scrimmage. He's an impressive athlete for the size, and he's generated some pressures. He makes the interior defensive line better. And if you do make that interior better, then it's going to be easier for Nick Bosa, regardless of how piecemeal or incremental that fix is. Now, Bosa is a guy that helps everybody else. It's a reciprocal arrangement, right? So Nick Bosa can help Khalil Davis as well. The goal of defensive line play is to build up as strong of a collection as possible that complements itself as much as possible. So it's greater than the sum of the parts, right? And I think that the 49ers are giving themselves a good chance to do that. Listen, this pass rush has been solid so far this year. This pass rush, we're going to do a 180 hairpin turn here. Watch this. Oh, woo! Made it. All right, this is the part where I might lose you guys, but I hope not, as we make our climb up the hill. I'm sure a lot of you already recognize this. We're heading up Twin Peaks. We're going to go to the highest point of the city, actually the second highest point of the city. Highest point of the city is Mount Davidson, but we can't drive up to Mount Davidson. So we're going to head up to Twin Peaks. It looks like we're in the countryside now. 2-lane road, driverless car. This is how all horror movies start, or at least how horror movies over the next 50 years are going to start. And it's going to be a beautiful view when we get to the top. I'm sure you guys are all waiting with bated breath to see what happens next. But the car is doing a good job. It's like this is how they test these driverless cars on mountain roads. We're already getting a bit of a view. That's good. How do I think the time will be split amongst the running backs since McCaffrey has returned? Oh, there we go. Look at that. There's the city. Christian McCaffrey, low management thing as far as they're going to test to see how much he can take, incrementally build him up. If things go well for the 49ers, will increase as time goes, just based on the load management plan that they've been giving him so far in his rehab. Now that's got to carry over to the game. We are working our way up Twin Peaks. We might have a... Oh, we're almost at our stop. So what I did is told this to stop at Twin Peaks. Then I'm supposed to order another car. I'm just going to have it pick me up and go to the next spot. I think that's easier.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
Yeah, I'm not going to exit. It says if you're not exiting, yeah, we can resume ride. Boom. Just wanted to take you guys up to the view. The car is rolling. Yes, we are. Now, where do we make the U-turn here? Candlestick Park was over that way. We got a lot of people checking out the view over here. There's the city looking beautiful tonight. Got a new mayor, 49ers fan. That's official as of a few hours ago. As is our turnaround as we're going to go back down the street. There's the Sutro Tower at night. Hope you guys enjoyed the view. Because we're on our way down now. Go questions. I'm ready. What a fun game tonight. I think the season's finally hitting into overdrive. Now that it's November, this is when football becomes real. By the way, if you look this way, you can see the Pacific Ocean way in the distance. You see the moon reflecting off the ocean? That's pretty damn cool. I'll roll the window down for you guys. See the ocean that way. And during the daytime, you'd see it better, but I think the moon reflecting off of it does a good job. So the ocean in that direction. Sutro Tower is right here. I've never seen the view as nice at night. This is awesome. It's totally crystal clear going that way as we make our way down the road. Somebody said the Bengals went for the win at least. Yeah, they did. I kind of wanted to start the show. I didn't want overtime, so I was pretty happy about that. OT would have been a little tiresome on this Thursday night. And I've got to fly again tomorrow, so that was good. Something right now. This car is making its way down the hill. Some good speed. Look, we've got the view again this way. This is the one a little bit ago. There should be a commercial for Waymo. They just got to start paying me for this. No driver, view of San Francisco, wheel turning. Not bad. People saying that Todd Bowles made the right decision, or saying that it doesn't look as bad since we just saw the Cincinnati Bengals fail on the 2-point conversion, maybe with some help from the officials. I don't know. I think that Todd Bowles' team was overmatched. Defense was gassed. They weren't stopping the Chiefs. They didn't stop the Chiefs. I think they should have gone for the win when they had a chance. Yeah, Charvarius Ward is away from the team. Tomorrow is the funeral for his 1-year-old daughter who tragically passed away. Amani Joy was her name. The funeral is in Dallas. Somebody just asked about the 49ers cornerback, Charvarius Ward. So he's not going to play in this game. And he's on personal leave right now. The 49ers and Charvarius Ward will figure out at a later date when he's going to come back following that unthinkable tragedy. Well, we've made it down from Twin Peaks back to Market Street. A few more minutes of talking. I'm ready for you guys. Let's go. 49ers November. 49ers after the bye week. Again, 30-8 is the record in the past 3 years after the bye. 500 ball to 800 ball, essentially, before and after the bye for San Francisco. So will they kick it into gear? That's what we're going to find out starting. Well, I thought they already did kick it into gear in many ways against Dallas, but it still wasn't a complete game for the 49ers. It was still a game where they needed to finish it better. And I've talked about this a lot over the course of this week. I think that the chance to put on a defensive statement is absolutely there for the 49ers. This is, in fact, it's more than a chance. It's almost a requirement because they do have a fresh defense. They are coming off the bye week. They are healing up. If this is a top 5 defense, the 49ers need to prove it in the game where they're most fresh and they have the biggest rest advantage over their opponent. There's a question, is Jake Moody back this week? Yes, he is, because Anders Carlson was released from the practice squad. So Moody will be back this week for the 49ers coming off the high ankle sprain. He'll be back to their starting kicker. They've had to use 3 kickers already this year, including 3 in 3 weeks. 49ers finally starting to heal up in that regard. They did not have to put Jake Moody on IR, which was big, because you only have 8 return from IR designations, and the 49ers already are projecting to use 6, maybe 7 of them. So they did not need to use one for Moody. They do not have Matthew Wright anymore on the team. He has been released. No, sorry, Matthew Wright's on injured reserve. Anders Carlson's been released. Somebody asked about Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright is on IR with the shoulder dislocation that happened in the Seattle game. So he's still technically part of the injured reserve. All right, we got another view. This is what we came for, guys. Windows open. City is here. We're working our way down from Twin Peaks. That's the Mission, Noe Valley. The view stops being as cool at around this point, so we can now give thanks to Casper for the nice drive. I mean, Casper is flying. We're going 35 miles an hour now downhill. Again, we're treating it like a racetrack. Market Street, weaving our way down. We hit the dead zone again, but it's all good because we're back. We were going through the same spot on Market Street that gave us trouble before. We might have a little bit more reception issues here, but only a few more minutes, and I'm ready to take the final part of your questions. Casper should compete in NASCAR, although I don't think they have NASCAR for electric cars quite yet, but Casper's an electric car. All these Waymos are. You have a funny, great season so far. Numbers haven't been the same as they were a couple years ago, but the get-off time has been the best of Bosa's career on average. He leads the league in pressures against true pass sets, pass obvious situations. That's really impressive. So it wouldn't surprise me, although he's probably going to have some matchups with Tristan Wirfs, who's one of the best left tackles in the game. Bosa has Liberty line up on both sides, though, left tackle and right tackle. So we'll see how often he lines up against Tristan Wirfs and how often he lines up against Luke Gadecki, who's the right tackle for this Tampa Bay team. Now, if anybody gets hurt at the tackle positions, Tampa Bay's swing tackle is Justin School, who used to play for the 49ers. Josh Blevins says that he can't wait until... Oh, my God, what are we doing? The car is kind of like jerking back and forth here. Well, it's because it wasn't sure if it could make the right turn or pass in front of us. And then as soon as that car passed in front of us, we made the turn. That Waymo's 2 cars up, as you can see in the distance. Now we're going to make a left turn. These are always fun. I have to say, I felt great during this ride. The fact that you can take this all the way up to Twin Peaks, I think, is pretty damn cool. Now it's just a straight shot down 17th. It's going to be good. Any Hufanga updates? He's recovering from the torn ligaments in his wrist. Still on injured reserve, so nothing beyond that. Do I think that special teams will show improvement after the bye week? Well, they showed improvement before the bye week. That game against Dallas, they outplayed the 49ers special teams outplayed Dallas's special teams, even though the Cowboys came into that game ranked number 1 in the league. They had possibly the best kicker, Brandon Aubrey, and one of the best returners in Convante Turpin. And the 49ers won the battle on special teams. I think there was only one truly negative play when they kicked it out of bounds, but better than a return, right? So 49ers special teams ended the first half on a good note. That's one thing. They're ranked better than Tampa Bay in essentially every phase of the game, offense and defense. But Tampa Bay is top 10 in special teams, and the 49ers still ranked number 30. So that remains a potential equalizer until the 49ers can prove that it's not going to be that on a week in, week out basis. One good game does not make a good special teams unit. That's where the 49ers are right now. Ready for more questions, otherwise I'm going to shut it down. Because I'm tired at this point. Time for some rest. The 49ers, over the back half of this season, if they can get just a little bit better offensively in those check down situations, the third down conversions, the red zone situations, and that's something that I think they're counting on Christian McCaffrey to help them with. If that is something that improves for San Francisco, I think that the defense will improve as well. And obviously, if the defense can give them a little bit more juice, that can help the offense. That's the essence of complementary football. I always think back to the Rams games where they turned things around in 2021 and 2022. And complementary football was the name of the game. They found a way to make things click in all three phases. And they did that for the most part against Dallas. I know there was the ugly finish. But that's what the 49ers have to focus on. They have to focus on doing the small things right in every phase of the game so each phase of the game feeds off of itself. What was for dinner tonight? Oh, I haven't posted dinner tonight yet. It was a really good Middle Eastern place over on Church and Market. And I don't want to butcher the name, so I'm not going to say it right now. I think Biet is the first name. It was really good. My first time I've ever had it. They call it Arabic comfort food, and it was awesome. And I'll feature it at some point coming up on a more organized video than one of these lives as we roll down 17th Street. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. One more question. Has Banks regressed? He seems to be penalized a lot. I don't think that Banks is playing his best football. He actually has the lowest pass blocking efficiency score of all the 49ers offensive linemen, but his run blocking grade is really good. He's in the 80-something percentile there. So entire line has run blocked well. There's been better pass protection this year than there was in the past for the 49ers. So that's the positive, but I still think that the left guard position and the right tackle position, those have been below average in terms of pass blocking efficiency, although there has been overall improvement for the 49ers. Hope that answers your question, though, about Aaron Banks. He is in a contract year, which is worth noting. I had a breakfast burrito from this spot today. This is Dolores Park Cafe. They've got a lot of good stuff on the menu, but I will say that the breakfast burrito was not good. Not a satisfactory breakfast burrito for me. I know the city has got such amazing food. Normally I don't say stuff like that, but today I was not happy with my breakfast burrito. So I just got to point that out as we pass by. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. It's been a lot of fun. We'll talk to you guys soon. Good game tonight, by the way. That was sweet.